Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor episode number 152 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan and the others have been in for so long, why haven't they come out yet? Isn't something wrong? In the wooden house, Qinshin apparently waited a long time and was a little impatient, so she walked back and forth worriedly. I'm sure there won't be any problems with people here, but it's really been a while. Yi Meng was a little surprised when he heard Qinshin's words. Yi Meng didn't know what Xiao Yang's attainment in soul power was, but he clearly knew his own disciple's strength, but in the end Yi Meng was not very optimistic about Lung Fuyao. After all, Xiao Yang was not only powerful, but also with the support of holy flame and soul power, so, come out. Not long after they were worried, Lung Fuyao and Xiao Yang came out of the small space. From the moment Lung Fuyao appeared, Yi Meng noticed that the latter had an extremely awkward aura, and immediately laughed. Obviously he already knew the result without Lung Fuyao saying it. How's the situation? Qinshin asked urgently. Well, luckily. Xiao Yang also smiled slowly, there was not much emotion in his voice, as if he was talking about a small matter. This guy. How can it be so perverted? Lung Fuyao frowned and pouted, she couldn't imagine that this Xiao Yang seemed to be gentle, but he didn't hold back when he fought. However, Lung Fuyao was still a little fortunate. If Xiao Yang hadn't withdrawn his hand at the last moment, I'm afraid that in the soul competition, he would still be injured, and his impression of Xiao Yang immediately improved. What, it's shriveled. Yi Mengguang knew at a glance that Lung Fuyao had lost, and asked immediately. Humph, I just made a little mistake. If I do it again, I will definitely not lose. Lung Fuyao has always been arrogant, how could he say such a shameful thing? The two souls competed in a small space. Although Xiao Yang's soul power suppressed Lung Fuyao, Xiao Yang found that Lung Fuyao's control of soul power had reached a peak. She is a lot stronger, I'm afraid she really can't deal with her. Hehe, what your excellency said is very true. Faced with Lung Fuyao's admission of defeat, Xiao Yang immediately gave her the platform, and he was not serious. After all, Xiao Yang knew that Lung Fuyao's temperament was very strong. If you were serious with her, then I'm afraid I'll cause trouble for myself. You have eyesight. Master, he won. Give him something for promotion. Although Lung Fuyao was a bit harsh, he was never sloppy in the face of winning or losing. Hehe, you girl will still be soft, this is the first time I have seen this in so many years. This precious disciple of mine has been fighting against him, and Yi Meng will not forget this opportunity to ridicule her, and immediately said. Xiao Yang faced the two master and apprentice who were like living treasures, and his head was immediately covered with black lines. Let's go, I'll take you to the place to advance. It's not a joke to be promoted to the second-rank emperor rank pharmacist, and he also needs some other things. Yi Meng waved at Xiao Yang, and then spoke. Other things? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard the words. Although I knew for a long time that it would not be too easy to break through to the second-rank emperor rank alchemist, I didn't expect it to be so complicated. Ads by Pub Future. If you need other things, where do you go to ask? Hehe, don't worry, we have these things in our pharmacy. I was going to leave it to my two disciples for promotion, but I didn't expect it to be used by an outsider, alas. Yi Meng immediately said helplessly. In this way, I would like to thank old Yi. Xiao Yang heard this and immediately knew Yi Meng's careful thinking, but he already had a master teacher, so naturally he would not switch to his sect, and could only follow him apologetically. Yi Meng and Xiao Yang left the wooden house and headed for the deeper wooden house. Xiao Yang could feel that each of the three wooden houses contained extremely powerful restrictions. If ordinary people wanted to break in without authorization, I am afraid harder than going to the sky. Is his name Xiao Yang? He really is a perverted guy. It's all my fault, teacher, who keeps pestering me every day to say that I'm the best alchemist in the world. Now it's fine, this Xiao Yang. Lung Fuyao said with a little emotion when he saw his master leave Xiao Yang. Junior sister Fuyao, you are already very good. You can't just look at the surface. Perhaps you think Xiao Yang is very strong, but behind this power, there must be his dedication, and you are different, your path has been paved by Yi Meng, and it is impossible to catch up with him if everything is smooth sailing. Do you understand? Qinshin seemed to have some other relationship with Lung Fuyao, and immediately said comfortably. Sister Qinshin, you mean? Lung Fuyao seemed to have heard something from Qinshin's words, and his eyes lit up immediately. You've been stuck here for too long, it's time to go out and have a look. I think your master should be very happy. Qinshin said unabashedly. Master, will he agree? When Lung Fuyao heard this, although he was overjoyed, he was still worried. I was an abandoned girl who was undoubtedly picked up by my master. Although I always liked to fight against the first master and the second master, Lung Fuyao knew that the first master and the second master had already reached the level of blood and water with him, but it was just cold. Fuyao didn't want to admit it, so he kept running away. Trust me, they'll agree. And the ruins at the back just happened to go out to practice. Qin Xin finished speaking and sat down slowly without disturbing Lung Fuyao. Although Lung Fuyao's soul power is extremely terrifying and his attainments are quite high, but after all, he is a flower in a greenhouse in this case, it is not enough to compete with other powerhouses, let alone Xiao Yang, who is often in people who are on the verge of life and death do this. By the way, Elder Yi, this Lung Fuyao's soul power seems to be a bit strong, what's going on? Xiao Yang couldn't help but ask on the road. Just after fighting Xiao Yang in that small space, he found out that this Lung Fuyao is clearly only the soul power of the Emperor's mortal level peak, and he is the soul power of the Emperor level and Earth level small perfection, so it should be a situation of crushing. However, the souls of Xiao Yang and Lung Fuyao were quite anxious about this. If it wasn't for Xiao Yang's extraordinary combat experience, he would not have been able to defeat Lung Fuyao. This was what made Xiao Yang most helpless. She. Have you ever seen a girl with soul power in the innate Emperor realm? Yi Meng heard the words, and suddenly his voice became deep. What? The soul power of the Xiantian Emperor realm? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard this. Others don't know what this means, Xiao Yang himself doesn't know it. The so-called congenital is to have the soul power of the Emperor realm at birth, which is a bit incredible. There is a limit to a person's soul power. If you want to break through that limit, it will undoubtedly be more difficult than ascending to the sky, but the soul power of the innate Emperor realm means that Lung Fuyao's soul power will not be there before reaching the Fairyland. Any obstacle, everything will be like a natural breakthrough. This Lung Fu Yaoguang is such a little, that is enough to reach the existence of the immortal rank alchemist in the future. The future immortal level pharmacist, this name is very terrifying. Xiao Yang listened to Yi Meng's words, and was immediately surprised for a while, and then he said, immortal level pharmacists, looking at the entire Shenzhen Santian, are like phoenix hair water chestnuts. I am afraid that the pavilion masters of Fenxiang Pavilion have to treat them with respect. After all, the powerhouses at that level have reached the level of holding the sky with one hand. These are all things to say later, but you, this kid, surprised me a little. It's just that he broke the cultivation record in the Tongtian River, and then cultivated the fighting skills that no one has successfully cultivated since the establishment of the Hall of Success, and it also doesn't matter the soul power of the Emperor's realm level and the Holy Flame. You have a lot of secrets on your kid. I'm curious who can teach such a perverted apprentice. Don't use the old man Zhu as a shield, it's still clear what he thinks about that guy. Yi Meng asked Xiao Yang slightly. Yi Meng and Zhu Jin were old acquaintances. Yi Meng vaguely knew that at best, Zhu Jin could teach Xiao Yang about spiritual strength and battle formations. As for other places, he could not teach him at all. It's just a fluke. Faced with Yi Meng's questioning, Xiao Yang immediately felt a little big, and he couldn't tell others about it, so he could only deal with it at will. Since you don't talk about it, it's up to you, but as a member of the Burning Incense Pavilion, I advise you to keep your bottom line in everything. After all, you can't walk by the river without getting your shoes wet. Yi Meng said. After speaking, the two came directly to the door of the second wooden house. I have been taught. After listening to Yi Meng's teaching, Xiao Yang's presence seemed to understand something when he thought about what he had done in Burning Incense Pavilion these days, and immediately nodded respectfully to Yi Meng. It's here, Yi Meng said casually, and then stopped. This room is full of strong incense and medicinal herbs. Xiao Yang also stopped immediately, but Xiao Yang's excellent soul perception told him, hey, this is a forbidden place in our Burning Incense Pavilion. If you hadn't defeated that girl Lung Fuyao, I wouldn't let you in. It's only this time, it's not an example next time, Yi Meng said, and then he stopped talking and calmed down. Then Xiao Yang saw that a wave of extremely bright soul fluctuations continued to emanate from Yi Meng, and gently gathered towards the room. Soul lock, really advanced. Seeing this, Xiao Yang immediately understood what Yi Meng was doing. As long as the soul power reaches a certain height, you can immediately use the soul power to open up a small space, and for some precious things, you can also use the soul power to block, and the things that are blocked with the soul power are extremely safe, even if others are better than others. You can't break through if you are stronger and stronger. Unless the caster dies, the caster must open it in person. Hoo-hoo. Let's go. After taking a few breaths, Yi Meng wiped off a profuse sweat. It seemed that this activation consumed a lot of soul power, and then he said something to Xiao Yang. After Yi Meng finished speaking, the door that was tightly closed in front of the two was suddenly opened with a creak, and Yi Meng strode inside. Seeing this, Xiao Yang followed suit. However, the moment Xiao Yang stepped into this room, Xiao Yang clearly felt an extremely severe pain from his body. Squeak! Bastard! Xiao Yang scolded secretly for the first time, then his eyes were a little red, and he held the door with one hand, and said slightly weakly, "What's wrong?" Yi Meng heard the words, and immediately turned his head to look at Xiao Yang. At this time, Xiao Yang's breath was extremely weak, and he didn't know what he was doing. "It's all right, let's go." After Xiao Yang gasped violently for a few times, he took out a large amount of medicinal pills and swallowed them, and then he felt weak. However, Xiao Yang was surprised in his heart, because the source of the change just now was the blood demon golden energy in his chest. This blood demon golden energy has been temporarily suppressed by the strength of the color scale full-scale fighting immortal. Even if it is resolved in a short time, it should not recur. But the moment Xiao Yang stepped into this room just now, the blood demon's golden energy clearly produced a very restless mood, and the suppression imposed by Kaylin was instantly broken, and the scene just now came about. Fortunately, Xiao Yang's eyes were quick and his hands were quick, and he did not reveal any flaws. However, Xiao Yang did not dare to reveal any flaws. If the blood demon gold energy in his body was discovered by the people in the burning incense pavilion, he would probably have a very bleak end. Annihilated hatred. If it's all right, let's go. The place where you broke through is inside, and it will take some time to break through to the second-grade alchemist of the Emperor. Yi Meng said slightly. I don't know Yi Laro, what else do you need to break through to the second-rank Emperor rank alchemist? Xiao Yang hurriedly shifted his attention after slowly calming down the blood demon gold energy in his body. Emperor rank second-grade medicine refining is no child's play. Although your soul power has reached the Emperor's realm, you have not made a breakthrough. And your soul power has reached the threshold of breakthrough. If you want to truly advance to the second-rank Emperor rank alchemist, you must also use the Soul Stone. Yi Meng said calmly. Soul Stone? Xiao Yang hesitated. Apparently he knew very little about the connection between soul power and alchemist. After all, it's no wonder that Xiao Yang was taught by a veteran Yarrow when he was on the road of Doqi before, so he didn't have to worry about other things. This Do Emperor continent was different, and many things troubled Xiao Yang. The Emperor-level pharmacist's journey of cultivation is about cultivating a spiritual palace. Cultivation builds a spiritual palace. When the alchemist breaks through the immortal-level pharmacist, a real spiritual palace will be born in the body. When the spiritual palace moves, people can kill people. Being invisible, you can besiege the enemy and turn your hands around. It can be said to be a great killing technique exclusively for our pharmacists. Yi Meng smiled slightly. The purpose of the Soul Stone is to compress and condense your soul power to prepare for the establishment of a spiritual palace for future cultivation. And the Ling Palace is the embodiment of the spiritual power cultivated to the extreme. According to legend, there are pharmacists who are more powerful than the alchemists of the immortal rank. They use the spirit palace to imprison the strong immortals. In the blink of an eye, the strong immortals will be returned to the dust. Among them, I am afraid that only you will be able to do it yourself in the future. Experience. Yi Meng explained carefully. Although Xiao Yang couldn't become his own disciple, it would be fine to make him feel better about the pharmacy. Soul Stone, Spirit Palace. Xiao Yang nodded when he heard the words. It was the first time someone had told him this kind of thing, and the person in front of him had the last capital to teach Xiao Yang. Senior, please advise on how to deal with the Soul Stone and the Spirit Palace. Xiao Yang also knew that Yi Meng's refining skills were far superior to him, and immediately asked for advice humbly. As for condensing and building a spiritual palace, let alone you, even for me now, it's too early to say, so your task now is to swallow the Soul Stone to compress your soul power. Yi Meng faced the polite Xiao Yang immediately laughed. He is a dignified and upright second-rank pharmacist of the Emperor rank. Although he has successfully compressed his soul power and devoured the Soul Stone, in the final analysis, he is still not sure about building a real spiritual palace. After all, if you want to truly build a spiritual palace, light compresses the soul force to devour the Soul Stone. This is just the easiest step. If you want to build a spiritual palace, the most important thing is the power of the soul. Only when the power of the soul can completely break through the Emperor realm and enter the fairy realm is it possible. Otherwise, everything is just nonsense. Okay, boy, that's it. I've already told you everything I know, and then it's your own business. Devouring the soul stone should be exactly the same as the holy flame you devoured before. As for what will happen, I can't help you, to be honest. You have to rely on yourself for all this. Yi Meng said suddenly and solemnly. Yes. Xiao Yang also vaguely knew something, and immediately agreed slightly, and then his eyes suddenly became solemn. But don't be nervous. This step seems difficult, but it's actually easy. Yi Meng looked at Xiao Yang and seemed to be nervous, and said comfortably. Well, don't say I won't help you from the incense house. The soul stone is in it, you can get it yourself. This soul stone was fired at a sky-high price outside. If it wasn't for the help of someone you know, I'm afraid your kid will come here for nothing this time. Yi Meng said as he led Xiao Yang inside. Just after entering the wooden house, Xiao Yang's eyes changed instantly. Xiao Yang knew that this was the secret place of burning incense pavilion. Because Xiao Yang just saw these medicinal pills, if they took them out, they would be madly robbed by countless people. This is the essence of a sect. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Our pharmacy, as the central force in the burning incense pavilion, is far beyond your imagination. Yi Mengdao said. It seems that the Fenxiang pavilion is not weak. Xiao Yang suddenly felt a sense of pride towards the sect at this time. It's here. I've prepared everything you need. It's in there. What you need for promotion is a quiet and undisturbed space. I think it will be very suitable for you. Before Yi Meng could finish speaking, Xiao Yang only felt that his body was light, and Yi Meng was instantly drawn to that small piece of space. In space. I don't know the severity of this old antiques attack on Yi. The dignified 9-star fighting emperor, if it wasn't for my strong body, I'm afraid I would have been shot to death. Xiao Yang complained, and then put his peripheral vision into this small space. There are a lot of spaces in this refining pharmacy, and Yi Meng and the others have set up soul locks in each space, which is extremely safe. As for Xiao Yang's place here, it is a small space that Yi Meng specially opened up for Xiao Yang to break through. Is that the soul stone? Pure white and flawless, without any power, a small piece of silver-white stone? Xiao Yang glanced around and found nothing strange, and immediately stared at the most conspicuous thing in this space. It was a shimmering stone. The stone was pure white and flawless, without any color decoration. If I had to say it, the stone had a silver-white color. At this time, the soul stone was slowly lurking in the air. It feels so warm. Xiao Yang walked over gently, waved his palm, and the soul stone was suddenly absorbed in his hand. Immediately, an extremely warm warmth hit the palm of his hand, causing Xiao Yang to speak out. Wang Om. As Xiao Yang held the soul stone, the monstrous soul power in Xiao Yang's soul realm seemed to be mobilized, and there was a faint sign of merging into the soul stone. It seems that what Yi Meng said is not false. With this soul stone, you can truly step into the second-grade emperor rank pharmacist. Xiao Yang agreed in his heart, and his affection for Yi Meng increased immediately. Xiao Yang could feel that the value of this soul stone was absolutely extraordinary. The reason why Yi Mengnan gave it to Xiao Yang so heartily was because Xiao Yang showed amazing potential. However, Xiao Yang knew about this, many friends had many paths, so he didn't feel any disgust. The next step is to devour the soul stone to compress the power of the soul. Xiao Yang's voice was extremely heavy, because he knew that this step could not tolerate the slightest sloppiness, otherwise, if one accidentally hurt the source, he would not be able to laugh or cry. It's been a long time. With the appearance of Xiao Yang's voice, a human being exactly like Xiao Yang suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Yang. This human is actually Xiao Yang, and his aura is exactly the same as Xiao Yang. It's still safer like this. The real body Xiao Yang saw the appearance of the Emperor's soul avatar, and he immediately gained some confidence in his heart, and said, "You're making a big fuss. And if it causes harm, it will also be for the two of us. After all, we are a whole." Soul clone Xiao Yang said with a smile. "It is precisely because we are a whole that I summoned you, otherwise I would not be able to bear this kind of thing." The real body Xiao Yang heard the words and immediately opened his mouth. Actually, Xiao Yang was also depressed at this time. When he was above the Doqi continent, his soul power had just reached the Emperor realm. Xiao Yang knew that there was a way to do this, and then he came to the Xianling Emperor. Because of some coincidences, he condensed this soul avatar. This soul avatar is good or bad, it is not good, but the good thing is that he can help Xiao Yang fight. When you are fighting against others, when you are evenly matched, there is a teammate who has the same strength and has a high tacit understanding with yourself, which is undoubtedly the icing on the cake. However, when fighting with others, if it hurts Xiao Yang himself, it has nothing to do with it. If it hurts this soul avatar, it will undoubtedly give back to Xiao Yang himself, and that kind of feedback is still very big. So now to break through the power of the soul, Xiao Yang had to get heavier and summon the avatar of the soul to avoid any deviation. If that's the case, then let's do it with you. But you haven't summoned me for a long time. I thought you forgot me. Xiao Yang, the soul avatar, said lightly. The opponents you have dealt with recently are all within the range you can deal with, and your words are used as a trump card, and you won't use them easily unless you have to. Otherwise, too many cards will be displayed, and it will be easy to fall. The real body Xiao Yang. It's up to you. The soul clone said a word, and then became quiet on the side. He knew that there was no need for him to do anything by himself to compress the soul power with the soul devouring stone. This is the end of the matter, let's start. Seeing that the past was ready, Xiao Yang immediately relieved his breath, and then fixed his eyes on the soul stone in his hand, and a hot feeling spread throughout his body. Gulu gulu. Xiao Yang closed his eyes and rested. When the soul power in his body reached saturation, a strange sound came out of his body. With the appearance of this sound, Xiao Yang knew that it was time, and immediately opened his eyes. It seems that he is bound to win this promotion. The soul clone on the side spoke rather sharply. Start. The real body Xiao Yang snorted coldly, and then the dazzling power of holy flame suddenly burst out. Boom boom boom. The dazzling power of holy flame was just born, and he immediately wrapped Xiao Yang's palm holding the silver-white soul stone tightly, as if checking, burning the soul stone over and over without a trace. Dimmed slightly. Good guy, you are so careful. The soul avatar was immediately surprised. The reason why Xiao Yang did this was to prevent someone from doing anything in this soul stone. After all, this soul stone is an important thing related to the spiritual palace in the future, so it is not possible to be careful. Otherwise, once someone does something in the soul stone, it will undoubtedly be a great threat to the establishment of the spiritual palace in the future. With Xiao Yang's character, this kind of thing will definitely not happen. Soul power, come out. Xiao Yang saw that this soul stone was checked by his holy flame power and found nothing wrong, so he immediately calmed down and urged the soul power in his body to vent it towards the soul stone in his palm. Crash. The invisible soul force was like a stream of water, directly emerging from Xiao Yang's soul sea, and then under the constant compression of Xiao Yang, it went towards the soul stone on the palm of his hand. Come out for me. Xiao Yang shouted angrily. Just when he mobilized his soul power, he found that there was such a trace of soul power that he didn't want to come out of his soul realm, as if he knew something. Seeing this, how could Xiao Yang bear it? After all, he was also the master of this soul power. With Xiao Yang's firmness of heart, the soul power was nowhere to be seen, and was directly condensed into the silver soul stone in front of him by Xiao Yang. After a while, Xiao Yang felt that all the soul power in his soul realm had been expelled. He nodded with satisfaction and then stared at the soul stone in his hand. Now my soul power is all in this soul stone. If I fight people in the future, I'm afraid I can use this thing as a trump card. Although the price is too high, it is still a good thing. Xiao Yang laughed. He could clearly feel the shocking fluctuations from the soul stone. The soul power contained in the fluctuations was a small perfection at the Emperor's realm, and he would undoubtedly kill a real 7-star fighting emperor. I didn't expect to compress the soul power so smoothly. Xiao Yang seemed to say something in surprise, and immediately turned the silver soul stone over. According to what Yi Meng said, it is not easy to compress the power of the soul. How could he think that Xiao Yang would be so relaxed? But I am afraid that Xiao Yang himself does not know that his soul power is extremely pure, so it is very simple to compress it. After all, Xiao Yang's soul the power has swallowed up a lot of the soul source collected by the soul clan, so in terms of purity, I am afraid that no one can match it. It's time to swallow it. Xiao Yang murmured, and then without hesitation, he directly lifted the soul stone in his hand, and then the power of the khaki holy flame emerged. If it's like what Yi Meng said, swallowing the soul stone is the same as swallowing the holy flame, then what I need to do now is to wrap the soul stone with the power of the holy flame. Then, it will be the most important breakthrough. Xiao Yang said in his heart. Wei thought. Devouring. The next moment, Xiao Yang's holy flame power suddenly gathered towards the silver soul stone, with a terrifying aura that was overwhelming. Boom boom boom. The power of the holy flame just touched the soul stone, and the soul stone vibrated at first, and then became restless, as if it knew that the power of flame was trying to devour itself. Immediately, the soul stone was no longer quiet and rose up to resist. At the same time, Xiao Yang found that his soul power in the soul stone suddenly lost contact, and then his soul power that had been compressed in the soul stone seemed to be used by the soul stone. This soul stone is really restless. Xiao Yang said with a fierce look in his eyes, and suddenly felt an extremely terrifying pressure from the silver soul stone. This pressure is naturally familiar to Xiao Yang, because this pressure is his own. The soul power of the Emperor Realm level Xiaocheng, but his soul power is being controlled by the soul stone at this time, fighting against his own holy flame. Emperor's Realm level Xiaocheng's soul power is powerful, but compared with my holy flame, it's nothing short of nothing. So, break it. Xiao Yang's voice was filled with the irresistible force of a scorching flame, which suddenly intensified, and then whistled away at the soul stone. You. The soul stone also realized that Xiao Yang's enormous power of holy flame was not something he could resist, and immediately became weak, and his weak voice seemed to beg for mercy. Wouldn't it be better to do this earlier? Xiao Yang felt the retreat from the soul stone, and immediately laughed. The terrifying offensive he had just made had finally frightened the soul stone, but now the soul stone does not dare to have the slightest dissatisfaction with himself. Come on. Xiao Yang paused for a few seconds before speaking. As soon as the voice fell, the silver-white soul stone on the palm of the hand flashed and turned into a stream of white light. Under the cover of Xiao Yang's earthy yellow holy flame, it poured into Xiao Yang's body. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as the soul stone poured into Xiao Yang's body, an extremely strong sense of rejection was born in Xiao Yang's body. That feeling, it seemed that something in his body was resisting the entry of the soul stone. What the is it? Xiao Yang couldn't help but snorted coldly, and then his eyes became slightly vigilant. If you keep going like this, when your vindictive chi is exhausted, you will probably die, so you can't just sit still like this. Soul stone, let me in. Xiao Yang endured the pain and directly raced the soul stone into the soul realm. Only then did Xiao Yang feel that the state of his body had stabilized. I don't know what kind of power it was just now, but it's really powerful. Xiao Yang gave a false alarm, and then said without danger. As for the mysterious power that just resisted the soul stone from entering the body, it came from the evil soul-devouring talisman, but Xiao Yang didn't find it. Next, it's time to make a breakthrough. After doing everything, he compressed the soul power into the soul stone, and the soul stone was swallowed into his body, and he smiled suddenly. Give me a breakthrough. The next moment, Xiao Yang said slowly in this small space, and Xiao Yang's soul power was slowly dispersed from the soul stone in the soul realm. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. During the 3 days, Qin Xin was not worried, but it was news that he went out early and returned late every day to visit Xiao Yang. Yi Meng and the others didn't say anything about it. And Qin Xin also knew that it would definitely take more than a day or two to break through to the second-grade alchemist of the Emperor rank. It's the 5th day. Qin Xin came here to pray for Xiao Yang as usual. One is to wait for Xiao Yang, and the other is to avoid cultivation. After all, Qin Xin's cultivation has reached a bottleneck at this time. If she is at her residence, she will definitely be taught by her master. I'm afraid this kid's accomplishments above soul power are on par with Fu Yao's. Yi Meng walked out slowly and spoke to Qin Xin. In the past few days, Yi Meng has not left the pharmacy, but has been guarding it here. First, he is worried that Xiao Yang will break through regardless of what problems he encounters, and it is easy to solve them. Second, he also wants to see what Xiao Yang can do. What a trick. By the way, where's Lung Fuyao? Qin Xin said immediately because she didn't see Lung Fuyao today. Haha, that Nizzy was hit by Xiao Yang a lot, and that guy kept pestering me to go out to practice. It's not because she promised her that she was stubborn. She should be doing hard work now. After all, she promised to let her go out and take a look at the ruins. Yi Meng said with a smile. This guy. Qin Xin naturally laughed when she heard the words. Qin Xin knew more or less about Yi Meng's character. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, while the two were talking, thunderclouds suddenly gathered in the sky. Dismiss. But the next moment, Yi Meng spread his hands, and the thundercloud above the sky dissipated instantly. Looks like this guy succeeded. 5 days is really a freak. Rao, based on Yi Meng's experience, can only use the word freak in his evaluation of Xiao Yang. After all, Yi Mengqi has not seen anyone who can be in 5 days. Compressed soul power devours soul stones. Seeing this, Qin Xin also nodded secretly. The reason why Yi Meng broke Lei Yun was to lower Xiao Yang's reputation. Success. Qin Xin looked at Xiao Yang, who had withdrawn slightly from the small space, and immediately asked with all her strength. It's a fluke. When Xiao Yang heard the words, he naturally turned his head and smiled. The current Xiao Yang, but in the real sense, can be regarded as a second-grade Emperor rank pharmacist. Emperor rank second-rank pharmacists are also divided into 3 levels of heaven, earth, and human. Xiao Yang's current strength should be at the middle level of human level. Hey, you kid is really surprising. Seeing this, Yi Meng couldn't help but smile. This time, I would like to thank the seniors. If you need it in the future, feel free to speak. Xiao Yang heard this and said something to Yi Meng. After all, the preciousness of that soul stone was enough for Xiao Yang to do this. It's all a family, why are you being so polite? But you have to say that. I really have something to discuss with you. Yi Meng seemed to have been waiting for Xiao Yang's words, and immediately said, I don't know what's wrong. Xiao Yang frowned. Apparently, how did he know that Yi Meng was so cunning? The soul stone of affection was deliberately done by this guy, and he immediately felt like he fell into a big pit. Hehe, this matter is not difficult for you. My request is that this time the ruins are brought in with Lung Fuyao, and they are brought out intact. Yi Meng Dao. What? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard the words. The news of the ruins has not been specifically reported even now. If I promise this guy, I am afraid that Don't be afraid. It stands to reason that there will be news coming out of the ruins recently, and my request is not too much. You brought Lung Fuyao on this trip. Although this guy is not strong in combat, he is much stronger than you in the identification and refining of medicinal pills, including the production of some detoxification pills, so with her, you will not suffer. Seemingly seeing Xiao Yang's reluctance, Yi Meng hurriedly talked about the benefits of Lung Fuyao. Yes, but let her listen to me, otherwise I won't be responsible for anything that happens inside. Xiao Yang said in a deep voice. I have already taken the benefits of Yi Meng, so I can't refuse to agree to this request from others, otherwise this is a bit unreasonable. It's natural, I'll teach her this. When the news of the ruins comes out, you will come here once. Now, if you two have other matters, I will not leave you. Yi Meng immediately ordered the expulsion. Let's go. Let's go back first. Qin Shin nodded slightly, then left the pharmacy first. Xiao Yang. How could such a good seedling be cheaper than that Zhu Jin? Yi Meng looked at Xiao Yang's disappearance and was slightly dissatisfied, but in the end he didn't say anything more. Master, are they gone? Xiao Yang and the others had just left, when Lung Fuyao suddenly rushed out of a wooden house. At this time, Lung Fuyao had a smell of gunpowder all over his body, obviously he was still refining. Making pills. Yu reading www.ukungshu.com. I just left, what's the matter? Yi Meng asked a few more questions curiously when he saw his precious disciple being so devoted to a man for the first time. Has he succeeded? Lung Fuyao's eyes flashed a hint of stubbornness, then Bei bit his lips, staring at the place where Xiao Yang disappeared and said, Success. From entering the small space to compress the soul force and devour the soul stone, it will take 5 days in total. Yi Meng heard the words, and immediately knew that he was wrong. 5 days. How can it be? I remember that it took you a whole month, Master, this Xiao Yang. As soon as Yi Meng's voice fell, Lung Fuyao's expression suddenly became strange. Hihi, that's why I said that this kid is no weaker than you in terms of soul power. Yi Meng said as if he had stopped, and then smiled slowly. Master, I understand, this time out of the ruins, I will follow him. Lung Fuyao's eyes flickered with determination, and he immediately exited. Then it disappeared directly, obviously concentrating on cultivating. So best. I'm afraid that something will happen at that time, and it will be difficult to handle. Yi Meng heard the words, and his head suddenly became big. He knew exactly what character of his own disciple. This Lung Fuyao is clearly a powder keg that explodes when touched. If this is not controlled and allowed to go out, I am afraid it will cause trouble. But Xiao Yang, although this girl is quite vicious, her temperament is not bad. I hope that this time the ruins can grow a little bit, and it will also add strength to future sect competitions. Yi Meng finished speaking and looked up. Looking into the distance, he slowly disappeared, obviously busy with other things. This video will end here.